What if today was the day you finally stopped holding yourself back? Really think about that. What if today was the day you refused to settle for the same excuses, the same routines, the same small version of yourself? Somewhere deep inside, you know you were built for more. You felt it before, haven't you? That quiet voice inside whispering that you're capable of so much more than the life you're living right now. But too often we silence that voice. We tell ourselves it's not the right time. We convince ourselves we're not ready, not good enough, not strong enough. And so we stay where it feels safe, even when safe feels suffocating. But here's the truth. Your life will not transform until you do. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is coming to push you harder than you're willing to push yourself. The life you want, the confidence you crave, the freedom you dream about, they are waiting for you on the other side of discomfort, on the other side of fear, on the other side of forcing yourself to level up when it would be so much easier to stay the same. Right now, you might feel stuck. Maybe you're tired of watching other people succeed while you feel like you're standing still. Maybe you're angry with yourself for wasting time, for ignoring opportunities, for letting fear decide your future. That frustration you feel, that's power. That's proof you haven't given up on yourself yet. That's the fire you need to keep listening to, because the moment you stop running from that discomfort and start using it is the moment everything changes. Growth never feels comfortable at first. It feels like resistance. It feels like doubt. But that's the price of becoming someone you respect. That's the price of building a life that excites you instead of drains you. Stay with me, because what we're about to unlock together will challenge you, but it will also set you free. By the end of this journey, you will understand how to force yourself to rise higher, even when you don't feel like it. You will see that self-discipline is not punishment, it is liberation. You will feel what it's like to stop negotiating with your potential and start living as the person you are always meant to be. This is not just another motivational speech. This is a call to action for the version of you that refuses to quit, for the version of you that knows there's more inside, for the version of you that is ready to rise, even if it means breaking the habits, beliefs, and limitations that have been holding you down for years. So take a deep breath. Decide right now that you are not just going to watch this and go back to life as usual. Decide that this is the moment you draw the line. The moment you say no more waiting, no more hiding, no more playing small. The moment you choose to step up, even if it scares you. Because if you stay with me, that's exactly what we're going to do together. You already know what staying the same feels like. You've lived that chapter. You felt the frustration of waking up to another day that looks just like the one before it. Deep down, you know that nothing changes until you do. And that's why this moment matters so much. This is the moment you stop waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is a lie. It never comes. There is only now, and now is enough. Most people wait for motivation to strike before they act, but that's why most people never move forward. Motivation is not what gets you started. It's what shows up after you take the first step. Action creates energy. Action builds momentum. And the smallest action, repeated every single day, can completely rewrite the direction of your life. Imagine what happens when you stop giving power to hesitation. Imagine what happens when you stop waiting until you feel ready and decide to act before the fear catches up. The truth is, fear will never disappear. Fear is a sign you're stepping into something that matters. Your brain will always try to protect you by keeping you where it feels safe. But safety is not the same thing as happiness. Safety is not the same thing as growth. Safety is the slow death of your potential. You were not created to live a life that feels empty. You were created to push, to grow, to discover what you're really capable of. So start with one decision, one choice that tells your mind and body that things are different now. Wake up earlier. Do the thing you've been avoiding. Have the conversation you've been putting off. Take the step that scares you and refuse to take it back, because every time you force yourself to act, you take back control. You remind yourself that you are not a victim of circumstances, you are the creator of them. This is how confidence is built, not by wishing for it, not by waiting for it, but by proving to yourself over and over again that you can do hard things. Confidence is earned every time you face resistance and push through. Every time you show up for yourself when no one is watching, you become stronger. And that strength compounds. The more you do, the more you believe. The more you believe, the more you do. You don't need to have everything figured out right now. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to start. Because the version of you that's waiting on the other side of this fear is worth meeting. That version of you is stronger, more focused, more alive. That version of you is already living the life you dream about. And the only way to get there is to take the first uncomfortable step and then the next and the next until discomfort becomes your new normal. Choose to act now. Choose to break the cycle of waiting, doubting, hesitating. Choose to level up not someday, but today. Because today is all you have, and today is enough to start rewriting your entire story. Every great transformation begins with a decision, but it survives because of discipline. Motivation might get you started, but discipline keeps you moving when the excitement wears off. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up, days when the weight of your old habits tries to drag you back to where you started. Those are the moments that matter most. Those are the moments that separate the person you used to be from the person you are becoming. Your mind will try to bargain with you. It will whisper that skipping just one day won't hurt, that it's okay to take it easy, that you deserve a break. But you know the truth. Every time you choose the easy way out, you reinforce the same patterns you've been trying to break. Every time you show up despite the resistance, you weaken the hold of your excuses. And every small victory builds a stronger version of you, one decision at a time. Think about what happens when you force yourself to do the hard thing, not once, but over and over. You start to rewire the way you see yourself. You stop identifying as someone who quits when it's uncomfortable. You start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. That identity shift is powerful. It changes the way you move, the way you speak, the way you face challenges. You begin to trust yourself. And that self-trust is the foundation of every great achievement. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about refusing to let failure decide your future. You will mess up. You will miss days. You will fall short. But discipline means you get back up faster every single time. You refuse to let one bad moment turn into a bad week, a bad month, a bad year. You refuse to let the old version of you win. And when you live this way, something incredible happens. You start to crave the challenge. You start to chase the feeling of pushing past your limits. The very things that used to scare you start to excite you because you know that fear means growth. You stop running from discomfort and start running toward it. You welcome the struggle because you know it's shaping you into someone unrecognizable compared to who you were. This is the kind of discipline that builds a life you're proud of, not the life other people expect of you, not the life that keeps everyone else comfortable, but the life that makes you wake up with fire in your chest, a life that feels like freedom. You have the power to create that life, but it will take everything you've got. It will take consistency when no one is clapping for you. It will take sacrifice when it would be easier to give in. And it will take an unshakable commitment to becoming the person you know you were meant to be. Every choice you make from this moment forward is a vote for that future. And if you keep casting those votes day after day, the life you want stops being a dream and starts becoming your reality. The moment you begin to trust yourself is the moment your world starts to expand. When you honor your own word, you stop living as a prisoner of doubt. You stop looking outside for validation and start looking within for direction. And when you no longer need permission to rise, you become unstoppable. Most people are held back not by their potential, but by the weight of their own broken promises. Every time you say you will do something and then don't, you chip away at your own belief. But every time you follow through, you rebuild that belief stronger than before. Imagine what your life would look like if you kept every promise you made to yourself for the next year. Imagine how powerful you would feel if you could trust that when you said you'd wake up early, you did. When you said you'd push through the workout, you did. When you said you'd focus on your goals, you did. That consistency would change everything. It would no longer just be something you do. It would be who you are, but to reach that point, you must be willing to be brutally honest with yourself. Stop pretending that procrastination is rest. Stop convincing yourself that waiting until tomorrow is a plan. You already know what's holding you back. You already know the habits, the distractions, the patterns that keep you small. And until you face them head on, they will own you. This is the part most people avoid, the uncomfortable truth that growth requires sacrifice. You cannot hold on to the old version of you and expect to step into the new one. Something has to die for something greater to live. Maybe it's your attachment to comfort. Maybe it's your fear of judgment. Maybe it's the belief that you are not enough. Whatever it is, you have to be willing to let it go. And when you do, When you strip away everything that no longer serves you, you create space for something greater to take its place. You create space for discipline to become devotion, for fear to become fuel, for hesitation to become action. That is when you start to feel alive again, not because life suddenly got easier, but because you stopped running from the challenge that was meant to shape you. Every day you get the chance to decide who you are becoming, not once a year, not just on your birthday, not when everything lines up perfectly. Every single day is a vote for the future you're building, and every day you hesitate, you cast a vote for staying the same. You cannot escape that reality. You either step forward in the growth or stay stuck in the patterns that keep you wishing for more. So step forward, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Step forward now, with fear still in your chest, with doubt still whispering, with your legs shaking if they have to. Because courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move through it. And the moment you do, you begin to separate yourself from the person you used to be and start stepping into the person you were always meant to become. Every step you take into fear is a vote for the future you desire, and those votes add up faster than you think. The first few steps may feel heavy, as if you are dragging the weight of your old life behind you. That is normal. Growth always feels heavier at the beginning. You are not just fighting for a new habit, you are fighting against every excuse, every old belief, every time you told yourself you couldn't. But if you keep going, that weight starts to lift. Your strength grows. What once felt impossible becomes your new standard. This is why pushing yourself matters so much. You are not just chasing goals. You are reshaping your entire identity. You are teaching your mind that it is safe to grow, that it is safe to want more, that it is safe to take up space in a world that benefits from your silence. Every challenge you face becomes proof that you can handle more than you thought. Every moment you push past resistance becomes a reminder that you are capable of more than survival. You are here to build, to create, to lead yourself toward a life that feels extraordinary. But you must stay hungry. The moment you let comfort take over, you slide backward. Comfort whispers that you have done enough, that you can slow down, that you can stop pushing. But stopping is never neutral. Stopping leads to drifting. Drifting leads to losing sight of why you started in the first place. You cannot allow that. You must stay connected to the fire that drove you to begin this journey. When it gets hard, remind yourself why you started. Was it to finally take control of your health? To build a life of freedom? To prove to yourself that you could rise above the version of you that kept quitting? Hold that reason close. Let it be the anchor that keeps you steady when everything around you tells you to quit. The days you feel most tired, most unmotivated, most defeated, those are the days your reason matters most. And something incredible happens when you refuse to quit on those hard days. You build a level of mental toughness that cannot be faked. You stop needing the perfect environment or the perfect mood to do the work. You do it because you said you would. You do it because that's who you are now. That kind of consistency makes you dangerous in the best way. Dangerous to the limits that used to control you. Dangerous to the excuses that used to win. You may not see the results immediately, but you will feel them. You will feel stronger, clearer, more alive. You will notice that the fear that once paralyzed you now fuels you. You will notice that the person you used to be starts to fade, replaced by someone who cannot be ignored, someone who commands respect, someone who respects themselves. That is the reward waiting for you on the other side of this season of effort. And once you get a taste of what it feels like to truly own your life, you will never want to go back. When you refuse to go back, you begin to realize how much of your old life was built on limitations that were never truly yours. Most of the doubts you carry were planted by other people, by the voices that told you to be realistic, to stay safe, to stop dreaming so big. But you are not here to live by someone else's fears. You are here to live by your own vision. The moment you stop letting the opinions of others dictate what is possible for you, you step into a power that most people will never experience. People will not always understand your decision to grow. Some will question you. Some will doubt you. Some may even try to pull you back because your growth forces them to confront the fact that they are not growing themselves. You cannot let their hesitation become your hesitation. Their fear is not your responsibility. Their comfort zone is not your home. You have to keep moving forward, even if you walk that road alone for a while. This is where courage becomes your closest ally. Courage is not loud. Courage is quiet, steady, unshakable. It is the decision you make every morning to keep showing up for yourself, even when no one is watching, even when no one is cheering. Courage is choosing the harder path because you know it leads to the life you actually want. And the more you choose courage, the easier it becomes. It starts as a whisper, then grows into a roar. Soon, you no longer need to force yourself to rise. You crave it. You crave the challenge, the growth, the transformation. You crave the feeling of breaking through barriers that used to stop you. That hunger is what keeps you alive, what keeps you sharp, what keeps you from falling back into a life that no longer fits you. Every day you practice courage, you build a level of emotional strength that protects you from regret. Regret is the heaviest burden you can carry. It doesn't just sit in your mind. It eats away at your heart, reminding you of the chances you didn't take, the opportunities you let pass, the version of yourself you never became. But when you live with courage, you live light. You may still fail, you may still fall, but you will know you tried, and that knowing is powerful enough to silence regret before it ever takes root. You are capable of so much more than you've been led to believe. The only limits that exist are the ones you continue to honor. Break them, replace them with new rules that empower you instead of holding you back. Demand more from yourself, not because you are unworthy as you are, but because you know you were made for more. The world doesn't benefit from you playing small. The world needs you at your fullest, your boldest, your strongest. So rise even if it feels lonely. Rise even if no one claps. Rise because every time you do, you become more of who you were always meant to be. And one day you will look back and realize that the courage you are practicing right now is the very thing that created the life you once thought was impossible. The life you once thought was impossible is already within reach, but only if you continue to act like the person who deserves it. Every decision you make now is casting a vote for who you are becoming. You cannot demand a higher standard of life while living at a lower standard of discipline. Your habits must rise to meet your vision. Your choices must reflect the future you want, not the past you're trying to leave behind. This is where real change happens, not in one big leap, but in the quiet, relentless commitment to doing what must be done every single day. It is easy to talk about change. It is easy to dream about the life you want. But real transformation is not about talking. It's about doing. It's about waking up and putting in the work, even when no one notices, even when there's no reward in sight. You do it because you know that showing up is the reward. The process itself is shaping you, preparing you, making you stronger than the person you were yesterday. You cannot wait until you feel ready to commit. Readiness is a myth. There will never be a perfect moment when fear disappears and everything feels certain. If you are waiting for that moment, you will wait forever. The only way to feel ready is to start before you feel ready and let action build your confidence. Every time you move forward in uncertainty, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling life as it comes. Stop measuring progress only by what you can see. Most of the work is invisible at first. The world may not notice your effort yet, but your mind does, your spirit does. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are laying a foundation for something far greater than what exists right now. When the results finally show, they will not just be physical or external. They will be a reflection of the strength, patience, and resilience you have been building all along. And this is why you must not stop. You are too close to the version of yourself you've been chasing. You may not feel it yet, but you are transforming in ways you cannot fully see. The habits that once felt impossible are becoming natural. The thoughts that once held you back are losing their grip. The fear that used to control you is getting quieter every day you choose to act. You owe it to yourself to see how far this can go. You owe it to yourself to find out what happens when you refuse to quit this time. Imagine looking back 1 year from now and realizing that everything changed because you didn't give up when it was hard. That vision should drive you. That vision should pull you forward even on the days you want to stop. The truth is, you are not just fighting for the life you want. You are fighting for the person you are becoming. And the person you are becoming is worth every late night, every early morning, every hard choice, every moment of doubt you've had to overcome. Keep going. The world has not yet seen the strongest, most focused, most determined version of you. But you are building that version right now, one choice at a time. The version of you that you are building right now is forged in pressure, and pressure is not your enemy. Pressure is the sign that you are growing, stretching, stepping into a new level of yourself. Most people run from pressure because they think it means something is wrong, but pressure is proof that you are stepping into unfamiliar territory. It is the weight that shapes you, that sharpens you, that prepares you for the life you've been asking for. You cannot become stronger without it. You cannot rise higher without it. Every challenge you face is a test, not of your weakness, but of your commitment. Will you keep moving forward when it feels like everything is trying to hold you back? Will you stay the course when results are slow, when the path feels lonely, when the doubts get louder? Because this is where most people turn back. This is where most people decide that the pain isn't worth the promise. But if you hold on, if you refuse to break, this is also where the breakthrough lives. There will be days when quitting feels like the easier option. And in those moments, you must remember why you started. You must remind yourself that quitting only guarantees one outcome, staying exactly where you are. You are tired of being stuck. If you are tired of feeling like your potential is slipping through your fingers, you cannot choose the easy way out. You must choose to endure. Endurance is what transforms effort into results. Endurance is what turns discipline into destiny. Do not underestimate the power of staying in the fight just a little longer. Progress often comes in silence. Nothing seems to change for weeks, sometimes months, and then suddenly everything shifts. That is not luck. That is the compound effect of every choice you made when no one was watching. The results were always building, you just couldn't see them yet. Trust that every ounce of effort is stacking in your favor. When you learn to embrace the process, you stop needing instant results to stay motivated. You start falling in love with the work itself. The discipline, the grind, the small wins, they become addictive because they remind you who you are becoming. This is how you build unshakable momentum. You stop working just for the outcome and start working because it aligns with the person you've decided to be. And when you reach that point, you are dangerous in the best possible way. Nothing outside of you can stop your progress because you are no longer dependent on perfect conditions to keep going. You have become your own source of motivation, your own source of drive. You have turned self-discipline into self-respect. And when you respect yourself, you stop tolerating anything less than the life you deserve. You are closer than you think, closer to the breakthrough, closer to the strength you've been chasing, closer to the life that feels like freedom. But this moment is where most people give up, and you cannot be one of them. This is where you dig deeper. This is where you prove to yourself that you are different. Because the moment you decide you will not stop, no matter how long it takes, is the moment you become unstoppable. Becoming unstoppable is not about force alone. It is about alignment. It is about aligning your thoughts, your habits, your actions, and your energy with the life you are building. You cannot think one way and act another and expect progress to feel natural. You cannot say you want change while clinging to the behaviors that keep you stagnant. True power comes when everything inside you moves in the same direction. That is when you stop fighting yourself and start moving with unstoppable momentum. This alignment starts with your mind. Every day you are either feeding your doubts or feeding your belief. Your mind will believe whatever you tell it most consistently, so be careful with your words, especially the words you speak to yourself. Stop saying you are tired, that you are stuck, that you are not enough. Those words create your reality. Replace them with words that pull you higher. Tell yourself you are capable. Tell yourself you are strong. Tell yourself that every challenge is shaping you into the person you are meant to be. But alignment is not just mental, it is physical. You must live in a way that supports the life you are building. This means taking care of your body because your body is the vehicle that carries you toward your vision. Move it, strengthen it, fuel it with what gives you energy instead of what drains you. A strong body supports a strong mind. And when both are working together, discipline becomes less of a struggle and more of a natural state. Then there's the environment you choose. You cannot grow in a space that keeps pulling you backward. Look at the people you surround yourself with, the information you consume, the habits you tolerate. Are they pulling you forward or keeping you small? You cannot afford to stay in places that feed your excuses. You need to be in spaces that challenge you, that remind you of who you are becoming, that force you to stretch beyond your comfort zone. And above all, alignment requires clarity. You must know where you are going, even if the path is not perfect yet. A clear vision gives you something to aim at, something to measure your choices against. When you are tempted to quit, that vision will remind you why you started. When you are tempted to settle, that vision will call you higher. Without clarity, you will drift. With clarity, you will move with purpose. The more aligned you become, the more unstoppable you feel. Doubt may still whisper. Fear may still knock, but they no longer control your decisions. You have built a life where your actions reflect your values, where your discipline reflects your standards, where your growth reflects your commitment. And that alignment creates peace, not the kind of peace that comes from avoiding challenges, but the kind of peace that comes from knowing you are fully living the life you were meant to live. This is where transformation becomes permanent. Because once you feel the power of living in full alignment with your highest self, you will never again be satisfied with half effort or half belief. You will demand more from yourself, not out of pressure, but out of respect for the person you are becoming. And that is when life begins to feel limitless. Life begins to feel limitless when you stop holding yourself back and start fully stepping into who you are meant to be. Most people are living at a fraction of their true capacity because they are afraid of their own power. They fear what will happen if they actually commit. They fear what will change if they stop making excuses and start living with full intensity. But freedom is found on the other side of that fear. The fear you feel is not a signal to stop. It is a signal that you are on the edge of something that could change everything. When you stop running from fear and start facing it, you unlock strength you never knew you had. Fear loses its grip the moment you refuse to bow to it. Every time you act in spite of fear, you take away a little more of its power. You start to see that fear was never the enemy. It was the gatekeeper to a bigger life. And once you walk through that gate enough times, fear no longer feels like a threat. It becomes a sign that you are on the right path. This is how you transform pressure into purpose. The same weight that used to crush you becomes the weight that builds you. You learn to thrive in the challenge because you know the challenge is making you unrecognizable in the best way possible. You are no longer the same person you were when you started this journey. You are becoming sharper, more focused, more resilient. And with every step forward, you are proving to yourself that you can handle more than you once believed. But to stay here, you must keep moving. Growth is not a one-time event. You cannot level up once and then stop. The moment you stop stretching yourself, you start shrinking. The moment you stop climbing, you begin to slide backward. So make the decision every single day to keep pushing higher, to keep demanding more from yourself, not because you are chasing perfection, but because you are committed to progress. Progress is the antidote to despair. When you know you are moving forward, even by an inch, you cannot feel hopeless. When you are taking action, you cannot feel powerless. Action reminds you that you are still in control. The truth is, control is not about everything going your way. It is about how you respond when it doesn't. You may not control the pace of results, but you control whether you keep showing up. This is the mindset that separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. It is not talent. It is not luck. It is the relentless refusal to stop moving forward, no matter how many times you are knocked down. And every time you rise, you become harder to break. Every time you refuse to quit, you turn yourself into the kind of person who cannot be stopped by circumstances, by critics, or by fear. The more you live this way, the more unstoppable you become. You no longer need to force yourself to level up. You crave it. You crave the next challenge, the next step, the next breakthrough. You crave it because you have learned that every level of growth reveals a stronger, more powerful version of you. And the more of that version you meet, the more determined you become to keep going. Craving the next breakthrough is the sign that you have shifted from surviving to thriving. You are no longer waiting for life to happen to you. You are shaping it with every decision. This is where true power lives, in the ability to choose growth over comfort again and again. Most people never reach this place because they stop when it gets hard. But you have proven that you can endure. You have shown yourself that you can keep moving, even when the path is steep, even when the rewards are not yet visible. That endurance has forged a mindset that can carry you through anything. But this stage is not about coasting. This stage is about turning your hunger into mastery. You have learned discipline, you have built resilience, now you must refine it. Growth is no longer just about pushing harder. It's about pushing smarter. It's about creating habits so powerful that they run on autopilot. It is about designing a life where every part of your day reflects the person you are becoming. When your routines align with your purpose, you stop wasting energy fighting against yourself. You move with clarity, with focus, with intention. This is also the time to raise your standards again. What once felt like a stretch is now your new baseline. That is the beauty of leveling up. What used to feel impossible becomes your normal, but normal can be dangerous if you allow it to lull you into comfort. You must refuse to settle at this new level. You must keep asking yourself, what else am I capable of? And then move toward the answer with everything you have. The danger of growth is that it can make you forget the pain of who you used to be. You forget the frustration of feeling stuck, the weight of your excuses, the hopelessness of staying small. But you cannot forget. You must remember that pain, not to live in it, but to honor it. It is the reminder of why you started, the reminder of what is at stake if you ever stop pushing. That memory will keep you humble, keep you hungry, keep you fighting for more. And do not mistake hunger for dissatisfaction. You can be deeply grateful for how far you have come while still chasing the next level. Gratitude and ambition can coexist. In fact, they must coexist. Gratitude keeps you grounded, keeps you centered, keeps you from chasing out of fear. Ambition keeps you sharp, keeps you moving, keeps you from becoming stagnant. Together, they create unstoppable momentum. When you live this way, you become an example for others. People start to notice the energy you carry, the way you move, the way you refuse to settle. You inspire them not because you are perfect, but because you are proof that change is possible. And that is one of the greatest rewards of leveling up. Your growth becomes a light that gives others permission to grow too. You are no longer just fighting for yourself. You are showing others what is possible when someone refuses to give up. That is legacy. And legacy is built one relentless step at a time, one courageous choice at a time, one moment of persistence after another. Keep building. Keep stepping. Keep proving to yourself and to the world that nothing can stop you when you decide to rise. Every step you take toward your highest potential strengthens the foundation you are building, and with every layer you add, you become harder to shake. The storms that used to knock you off course no longer have the same power because you have built yourself from the inside out. You are no longer relying on motivation alone. You are relying on identity, on the unshakable truth that this is simply who you are now. You don't have to force yourself to show up the way you used to because showing up has become your nature. But the journey does not end with becoming strong for yourself. Real transformation is tested when life challenges you in ways you didn't expect, when plans fall apart, when setbacks appear out of nowhere, when life tries to pull you back into your old ways. That is when you see what you are truly made of. And if you stay committed, those tests will not break you, they will refine you. They will strip away the pieces of you that are no longer needed, leaving behind only what is solid, only what is unshakable. The key is to stop treating obstacles as signs that you are off track. Obstacles are not barriers, they are teachers. Every setback contains a lesson designed to prepare you for the next level. Every disappointment is sharpening you, shaping your focus, forcing you to grow in ways comfort never could. If you can learn to see resistance as proof that you are moving in the right direction, you will no longer fear it, you will welcome it. You will start to see challenges as confirmation that you are stretching into a bigger life. And this is where your power becomes unbreakable, because when you stop fearing failure, you stop holding yourself back. Failure is no longer a dead end. It is data. It is feedback that shows you where to adjust, where to grow, where to push harder. The people who rise the highest are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who refuse to stay down. And every time you rise, you come back stronger, sharper, more determined than before. The deeper you go into this process, the more you realize that the real victory was never just reaching a goal. It was becoming the kind of person who could not be shaken by the pursuit of it. That is the ultimate reward, because once you become that person, you can rebuild from anything. You can start over 1,000 times if you need to, and every time you will rise faster than the last. This level of self-mastery is rare, and that is why it is powerful. Few people are willing to pay the price of becoming this strong. Few are willing to walk through the fire long enough to come out transformed, but you are not like most people. You have chosen the harder road, and that choice is shaping you into someone extraordinary. You are no longer chasing your potential. You are living it. And with every step you take forward, you are proving to yourself that there is no limit to how far you can go. The world may try to test you, but nothing can break a person who has decided they will never stop rising. There's a moment in every transformation where you realize you are no longer the same person who started this journey. You think differently, you move differently, you speak differently. You carry yourself with a quiet strength that others can feel before you even say a word. That is what happens when you refuse to quit. You become someone who no longer seeks permission to grow. You no longer wait for the perfect conditions because you have learned that perfection is an illusion. You act now with what you have, where you are, and that action transforms everything. The world responds differently to someone who has claimed their own power. Opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere, not because the world has changed, but because you have. You see possibilities where you used to see problems. You see doors where you used to see walls. That shift in perspective is one of the greatest breakthroughs you will ever experience, because once you see potential, you can never go back to pretending it is not there. You can never go back to living small when you know how big life can truly be. This is why you must protect your growth at all costs. The world will try to pull you back into the noise, into distraction, into the habits that once held you back. You must stay vigilant. You must guard your focus, your energy, your time like they are treasures, because they are. Your attention is the currency of your future, and what you give it to is what will grow. Feed your mind with what strengthens you. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who hold you to your highest standard, who remind you of who you are becoming. And when doubt shows up, and it will, you must confront it, not run from it. Doubt loses its power the moment you face it head on. You remind yourself of how far you have come, of every battle you have already won, of every moment you almost quit but didn't. That memory fuels you. It reminds you that you have been here before, that you have conquered this fear before, and you can do it again. Every day you show up, you are building a track record with yourself. You are proving that your word means something. You are proving that when you say you will do something, you follow through. That is how confidence is built, not by waiting to feel ready, but by acting and earning your own trust. The more you keep your promises to yourself, the louder that inner voice becomes, telling you that you are capable of even more. And that is where the cycle continues. Growth feeds confidence, confidence feeds action, action feeds results, and results feed growth. It becomes unstoppable, but only if you keep showing up, only if you refuse to let setbacks slow your momentum. You are closer than you think. You are stronger than you believe. And if you stay consistent, there will come a day when you look back and realize that this was the moment that changed everything. This was the season where you refused to let life decide for you, where you took back control, where you stepped fully into the person you were always meant to be. There is a deeper truth you must carry with you. Growth is not supposed to feel comfortable. It is supposed to stretch you, to challenge you, to demand more of you than you thought you had. To give the discomfort you feel right now is not a sign that you are failing. It is proof that you are evolving. Every time you choose to stay in the process when it would be easier to quit, you are rewiring your brain, teaching yourself that pressure does not break you, it builds you. And once you truly believe that, there is nothing life can throw at you that will stop you from moving forward. This is why so few people ever reach their full potential. The moment the pressure rises, they back down. They seek the path of least resistance. But the path of least resistance never leads to greatness. Greatness is forged in the fire of resistance. It is carved out in the moments when you want to stop but keep going anyway. That is where the power is. That is where the breakthroughs live. And every time you choose that path, you are separating yourself from the masses who are content to stay the same. You must start to see yourself as the kind of person who thrives under pressure, who uses struggle as fuel, who turns pain into progress. This is not just about getting through hard times. It is about using them as the very tool that shapes you into someone unrecognizable to your former self. Imagine the power of being able to look back one day and say, that moment almost broke me, but it made me. That is the identity you are building right now in real time. But building that identity means staying consistent when no one is watching. It means doing the work when there's no applause, no recognition, no instant reward. It means trusting that the investment you are making in yourself will pay off even when the results are not visible yet. Most people quit because they mistake silence for failure. They think that if the world is not celebrating them, they must be on the wrong path. But real transformation happens in the quiet seasons, in the hidden hours, in the moments that no one else sees. If you can keep moving when the world is silent, you will be unstoppable when the world finally notices. You will be ready for the opportunities when they come because you will have already done the work to become the person who deserves them. That is what this process is doing, turning you into someone who can hold the weight of the future you are building. The future you want is heavy. It requires strength, discipline, and character to carry it. And you are building all of that right now, one choice at a time. So lean into the pressure. Trust it. Let it mold you. The fire that feels like it is burning you is actually refining you. Every hard day, every tough decision, every moment of doubt is making you sharper, stronger, and more prepared. The person you are becoming is worth every ounce of discomfort you feel. And when the breakthrough arrives, it will not just be a moment of victory. It will be proof that you have become the kind of person who can rise again and again, no matter what life puts in your way.